All right, welcome back, fellow TFFL owners, to your weekly TFFL webcast. It is Wednesday, November 13th, 2019. We are looking ahead to Week 11 TFFL action, looking back at Week 10. We had a great Week 10. We got 3 great weeks lined up ahead of us. Let me start real quick with our panel introductions. I'm Stick, General Manager of TFFL Media, leader of the Aliens. Joined by a full panel for the first time in a while. Welcome back, guys. Starting with our commissioner, Terry.
Hello, everyone.
Damn it, I always forget your title.
So do I.
So does Terry.
I've got high command down now.
Nice.
We made one up for myself last year, but I don't recall it.
All right. Well, the Steel City Mongols join us here. Our former commissioner and skipper of the Sponge Fishermen, Chief.
Hello, everybody.
Sponge continuing a very strong 2019 season.
Sadly.
Hank, czar and CEO of the K-Wheels, our IT director. Welcome.
Thank you. I was on the losing end of Chiefs' continued rolling this past week, so yes.
But you were worried about that game because of bye week issues.
Absolutely. It was a known issue, but Chief was good. I lost.
And Berto from Jack's Giant Killers.
Yes. Good to be back.
Thank you. Welcome back. You're still thinking you're in the playoff hunt?
Today, yes.
Okay.
So we'll see what tomorrow brings. Changes by the day.
So let me go through some things real quick. I'm not going to give away the standings, of course. Hank's got his presentation awaiting.
Yes.
But lots of action in Week 10. We had another tie. Lizards, Beavers tied at 62. And this wasn't just any tie. This was a tie that ruined the Beavers' run at a perfect season. They will not eclipse the Boba Fett's 12-0-1 campaign in 2018. But that's still the goal now for the Beavers, is undefeated at 12-0-1. We had lots of other close action. So we had a tie. We had a 5-point game, 2 6-point games. A lot of stuff coming down to Sunday night, Monday night. Senators, unfortunately, dropping another one. They are now 0-10 on the season. Looking ahead a little bit to next week. We've been forecasting this game for a while, but K-Wheels and Hams in Week 12. Looming larger and larger as we go through the season. Crushing loss for the Boba Fett's in Week 10. They only scored 32 points, could not beat the Steel City Mongols with 38 points. And the Fats dropped sort of to the bottom of the wild card race, but they do have some tiebreakers. Giant Killers, as we said, kind of on life support at 4-6, but with a win, Berto's still got some hope. And let me go through some injuries real quick. We had a bunch of sort of short injuries, but they're going to affect things down the stretch here. Aliens losing Matt Stafford for a couple games at quarterback, losing Devontae Freeman at running back now for a couple games. Dirt Devils losing George Kittle at tight end for a couple games. And the Sponge losing Matt Breida at running back for a couple games now. There are your headlines. Let me give you a trivia question, and then we'll get started here. So last year, the Hormel Hams won the title, and they've sort of been an on again, off again part of our caravan down to Myrtle Beach for the last 10 years or so, however long we've been going to Myrtle Beach. But the 3 mainstays in that caravan, Stick, Hank, and Chief, have not won a title. That's been our goal all these years, is for one of us to win a title. We're having good years this year. All 3 of us in the playoff hunt. How far back do you have to go to find a year when all 3 of our teams made the playoffs? And I'll frame it this way. Is it in the last 5 years? In the last 6 to 10 years? Or more than 10 years?
Wow, that all 3 of us made it?
All 3 of us made the playoffs in the same year.
Wow.
0 to 5, 6 to 10.
Kind of a random question, but
Sure.
0 to 5, 6 to 10, or greater than 10?
Wow.
What are the odds? I mean, it's basically 1 and 2 times 1 and 2 times 1 and 2. Is it 1 and 8 or is it 1 and 16?
1 and 16.
You lost me on that part, but
Yeah.
There's a math equation. Yeah. All right.
Shit. Well, I got a 1 in 3 chance. All right.
Yep.
I like that.
Hank, why don't you give us our standings? 3 games to go. Division battles really setting up here down the stretch. Wild card race getting messy. Tell us what you know.
Yep. I'm going to do this so that we can do the standing. All right, here we go. We've seen the top here before. We got the Beavers 9-0 have clinched, and they are 1/2 game away from clinching the South. So Chief is going to have to win and hope Thorny loses to have any hope at the So-So title. Chief has a 2.5 game lead on the So-So West Conference. He has a magic number of a half a game. So a Sponge win or a Hams loss equals division title for Chief. The AmPack have clinched. They have a half game magic number to clinch the North outright. The Lizards currently have a half game lead over the the Aliens currently have a half game lead over the Lizards due to the tie. However, those two teams will play in the other big game coming up in week 13 when those two teams will play head-to-head to probably decide that division. So, who's in the chase? In the chase, the Lizards and the Aliens, as we said, one of those two teams is probably going to be will be a division winner, and the other one will probably be a wild card recipient should they continue to win. The Wheels and Hams are probably fighting for that second wild card spot, and we play in week 12, so that is a huge game. The Fats and the Giant Killers are going to have to hope that they can win out and the other teams above them stumble, figuring that the Liz really only need one more win and they can eliminate they'll break any ties with the Fats and the Killers. Mongols, Devils, Sens, you're out. We look at the next Mongols, I know you won this week, and I congratulate you, but that wasn't a great move.
No,
Yeah.
crushing. It was a crushing win. It was a crushing win.
You guys really talked up the Boba Fats last week, and they went out and scored 32 in a must-win game. But the one thing really keeping them in the race, even at 4 and 6, is they've got wins over the K Wheels and the Hormel Hams.
Yeah.
So that's what they're hoping for, is getting to a tiebreaker scenario with one or both of you guys.
Yep.
But you've got that big game with the Hams in week 12, Aliens, Lizards in week 13, again, is the other big game. And we'll talk about all the big stuff on tap in week 11 in a moment. Terry, welcome back as well.
Thank you.
We got lots of deadlines and quirky rules coming up to explain.
Right.
Tell us what we need to know.
Well, the trade deadline, as we've talked about on email and on the Commissioner's Corner before, is noon Wednesday, November 27th, the day before Thanksgiving. So that is the trade deadline. And then just a reminder on the FA rules during the playoffs, you're free to use any picks you still have available, but those players are not protectable and will be thrown back in the free agent pool at the conclusion of the playoffs. So that's the one caveat to the FAIR process in the playoffs.
Thank you. Just
Thank you.
Just a couple months to go, Terry.
Just a few. I've just been enjoying my time so much. It's been flying by.
Again, though, you have done a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The essential documents just keep coming faster than I can save them. And
Terry, I think I want to know how hard are you banging on the keyboard when you fill out that essential document, like in a pretty much a daily basis now?
Yeah, well, it's my morning ritual when I get to the office over a cup of coffee before anybody else gets there. I'll bang it out quick and move on. But yeah, some of the trades, like today I did one for the FA pick and move up a spot, but there's been some trades where it's like a third string running back for a backup kicker, and I'm like, come on, guys. But it's not bad. I don't mind that part.
Hey, so to start our chat today, I just wanted to call out something from our last webcast. I think two of you on separate occasions, and I think it was Hank and Chief, maybe Thornburg is involved, but I think two separate people in talking about the Lizards in Week 10 described it, as a must-win situation. The players are going to be really fired up and trying to rally from a losing streak, And I kind of caught it at the time, but when I saw it on replay with two of you, and then Ralph talking about bringing Josh Gordon in for his impact on the locker room, I just want to remind people these players don't really know they're on the
Shh! Don't ruin it, Dick.
Although, as I said that, I also realized if there was one owner out there who has contacted his NFL players and told them they're on the Lizards, it would be Rich.
It would be Rich.
So who knows? Maybe they really were fired up.
Right after Rich got done talking to Joe Biden.
Right. All right. So we had. I didn't mention this in the headlines, but we had a couple big trades. I just brought up Josh Gordon going to the Amsterdam Packer, going to the AmPack for a 5th rounder from the Devils. And the question I pose to you guys is this really a dumb move by Ralph in terms of maybe putting him at risk once again for starting Josh Gordon out of sentimental reasons? There's a nice segue for my rant. Starting Josh Gordon in the Pack Bowl once again because he wants Josh Gordon to win a Pack Bowl, and seeing Josh Gordon come short of the other guys he should have been putting in the lineup.
Ralph's a savvy enough owner not to make that mistake again. Now, if it turns out that he's the better player come that week, then sure. But Ralph knows better, and he'll do what's right for the impact.
You sound like the conspiracy theorists who say the Patriots won that Super Bowl against the Seahawks because they didn't want Marshawn Lynch to win the MVP. It was a 5th round pick, and there's probably not too many better receivers you got to pick up for a 5th round pick. Now with new life and an offense that you would think would fit him, an offense that could probably use him. I'm playing kind of street ball with Russ Wilson.
Not to mention Emmanuel Sanders went for a 3rd, and he's 32. Now, clearly, he's having a better season. He seems to be rejuvenated until he got hurt this week. So I think a 5th is not a bad price for Ralph. And I think we all kind of agree on that, right? So, yeah, but it's just depth, and if there's injuries happen, we go through this every year. Every Pack Bowl winning lineup has random dudes in it that are picked up late, and that's just the way it is. And maybe Josh Gordon, how ironic would this be that he is the guy that helps Ralph to a Pack Bowl, as sad as that can be.
That's the picture that Ralph has in his head.
That's what he wants to have.
You're feeding it, and now Ralph is going to start him in the Pack Bowl, whether he goes on.
But my point is, if he's the best player to start, then he'll start him.
He already is. In Ralph's head, he already is. He's a top 5 receiver in Ralph's mind. And Nick is an idiot. He could have. For Ralph, for Josh Gordon. The 5th? Who cares? Who cares? It's not even worth making the deal. Come on, Nick.
Now,
trade. It's going to help Ralph. And
here's the thing, though. Okay, Ralph has as his wide receiver core right now Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, Darren Waller, Christian Kirk, Devontae Parker, D.D. Westbrook, Traquan Smith, Deontay Johnson. He's got a lot of players and some good ones.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't need Josh Gordon.
Insurance. If he plays Gordon as part of that top 3 of that group, unless something clicks right now, Russell Wilson becomes like a 7 to 10 point scorer per game. Then we'll answer your own question. But it's hard to see Josh Gordon breaking into that starting lineup.
Listen, the other thing too, just to tag onto this, part of what we all do in this league is we all have a bias to make up for what we perceive as past sins of things that we did. I can't even tell you, and if Bill were on this, and maybe he's on the chat, how many times after I traded Demaryius Thomas,
you tried to get him back.
I tried to get him back. I probably sent Bill through the years after I made a horrific trade and got rid of him, maybe double-digit offers to get Demaryius Thomas back. And I could never get him back. So there is that bias in this league to make up for those past sins. And in Ralph's mind, and what Phil just said is a 5th-round pick. Okay. So to your point, Phil, yes, maybe Nick let him off the hook to allow Ralph to make up for that past sin. And to Chief's point, he probably won't play anyway, but Ralph feels comfortable that he has him on his team just in case he does go bonkers and he does become keeper worthy next year.
I'm not even talking keeper worthy. He's going to play this year in the AMPAC lineup. Write it down. Right? He will. He might play this week against me just because he knows he's got a big cushion and he can throw him in there this week.
Okay, the other big trade this week, Drew Brees coming to the Aliens from the Mongols for a 3rd-rounder, rookie receiver A.J. Brown. This is kind of that classic playoff drive rental. May especially be the case here with Brees, who potentially may retire after this season. The question is, does he really upgrade the Aliens quarterback position a ton? Matt Stafford was playing great. He's obviously injured now. Carson Wentz is probably the keeper heading into next year. How much do you like Brees as an addition to the Aliens lineup?
Well, before last week, and I just say that partially tongue in cheek, but I think what Brees gives you is, a good matchup quarterback that you can use. When he has games in the dome, he's usually in the Superdome. He's usually better. Michael Thomas is a threat. They know they're throwing to him, and he still seems to get 10 to 13 catches and a touchdown. I think it gives you another option at the position, which, in battling for playoff seeding and playoff is a good strategy.
It's Drew Brees. I mean, it's not a terrible thing to get him. We all know what kind of games he can have. Is he having a lot of them recently? No.
4 points.
What? How much?
4 points.
4.
Yeah. So there's a definite concern. Is he an upgrade from Matt Stafford? 50-50, maybe. Do you trust Wentz in the playoffs? I mean, I don't know. I think you added another piece of confusion into your quarterback room, which is very typical Aliens. Is they micromanage themselves out of any real consistency in how they approach things.
I'll go the other way. So we've come to we said this many webcasts ago about the ability to mix and match quarterbacks if you don't have the top flight guys. And that's where you're at. So, matchup dependent, whoever, and I'm looking at Wentz's schedule here. Dallas week 14, the Rams week 15. So I don't know, there could be something that changes here. I mean, Drew Brees this week, right? So that's a nice play this week. Atlanta week 13, if you need that win, that's a good start potentially. So, it's matchup dependent for not too steep a price.
It seems like a reasonable insurance. Like the guy is one of the top 5 throwers of the football who has ever played this game.
Yep.
He's coming back from a hand injury. You would expect him to get better as he, gets healthier and more practice reps. Again, Matt Stafford, because he's played better than Carson Wentz, I don't know if that means he's played great this year. And I'm not looking at his numbers right now, but I don't recall the Lions' offense to be doing all that much.
And he has broken bones in his back.
Yeah.
He's got
He's got the dreaded week to week, which could be week to week up to whenever.
And if the Lions fall out of playoff contention, let's face it,
Right.
he might not be playing much.
Right.
So yeah, I think it was a good move for mostly injury reasons. You hate to bow out of a playoff spot because you don't have a viable option. I'm a big favorite for a third round pick.
And listen, as much as anything, this was about week 10, and I'll give myself a little bit of credit here. I mean, Carson Wentz was on a bye. Matt Stafford was, if you read all the chatter throughout the week, he's got the same back injury he's had all season. Of course, he's going to play. Don't worry that he's limited to practice. And even heading into the free agent deadline at noon on Saturday, it was perceived that he was going to play on Sunday. But I knew I couldn't take that risk. I knew I had to get a quarterback somewhere. And really, I think the only free agent I saw out there was Ryan Tannehill. Mind you, Tannehill would have been a better option in week 10 than Brees. But I felt I needed to go trade for a quarterback. It was a pretty quick deal with Terry. And I wake up Sunday morning and Stafford is suddenly out. It at least gave me an option there I would not have had.
Yep.
4 points.
Hey, and got me 4 points. Berto, what other trades might be out there? We got 2 weeks to go. I know lots of owners are trying to shop players.
Okay.
I don't know how many buyers there are out there, but what do you see?
So I did this quickly since I got this homework assignment at 8:40. But anyway, I thought I had one more week for this, but I do have a few here. So we'll go through them, and I have 5 that I came up with. So number 1, Sens Liz. So the Sens send Joe Mixon to the Lizards. I know the Lizards are shopping around for running back. So they sent Joe Mixon to the Sens for next year's number 1 and 2021's number 3. Okay, so that's Joe Mixon to the Lizards. Mongols send to the Hams Kenyon Drake for a second in 2021. The Hams send Russell Wilson to either the Amsterdam Packers or the Killers for a 2021 number 1 and a 2020 number 5. The Devils send to the Aliens Duke Johnson for a number 2 in 2021. And then the last one, Fats send to the Wheels. Marvin Jones, welcome back to the Wheels. A little wide receiver depth.
Needs it. Yep.
For a number 4 next year.
That's the best one you got. I like that one a lot. What was the one for Stick? What was that one?
That was
Duke Johnson.
Yeah.
Duke Johnson
for a
second. Number 2 in 2021.
See, that's a perfect example of the over many pieces in the garage for Stick. It's like it's another guy to throw into consideration. Just what you need, Stick.
But here's the deal, right? So he doesn't have Devontae Freeman for a couple weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's injured.
Samuels isn't an option too much with Connor back.
Right.
Yeah.
LaShawn McCoy is minimized these days.
Yeah. So that's why.
Is Russell Wilson really worth a first plus?
That was the interesting one to me. Yeah.
What was the Russell Wilson one?
Perhaps to Burt.
That was either to the AMPAC or the Killers for a number 1 in 2021 and a number 5 next year.
Well, Berto probably has some inside information on that. So, if he thinks he's worth a 1 plus, then I guess he is.
That would be a big trade.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be.
Hint.
But we've seen the struggles the Giant Killers have had at quarterback this year.
Right. And the AMPAC, does it create, to your point, whoever said it before, Phil, I guess, some confusion this year? Potentially, but Matt Ryan is hurt. Tom Brady's not a keeper. So it is the AMPAC do not need a running back. Frankly, they don't really even need a receiver either. So this is an opportunity for the AMPAC to get Russell Wilson for this year with an injured Matt Ryan and a Tom Brady who, whatever, is not a keeper. So it's 1 foot in this year and 1 foot in next year, and it's a foot. It's in the future for the Killers if it were to go that way too.
What is Matt Ryan's prognosis right now? I mean, he's playing again, right?
Yeah. I believe so.
I thought he was questionable again for this week. Let's see. I thought, he's questionable.
Did not practice today.
Again this week. He didn't practice. It's Wednesday.
Okay.
We'll know more tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you've got some shakiness there. Chiefs theory on Tom Brady as we get into cold weather.
Yep.
And maybe it's a possibility for the AMPAC.
And again, the bias of having him on his team for X amount of years as well.
Mm-hmm.
We can't discount that.
And that would be a Giovenco brother trade too, right?
Yeah. Like a guy who last year
the dream Russell Wilson to Josh Gordon.
Oh, Ralph is salivating right now.
The other thing too is that Russell Wilson is on bye this week.
Yep.
The AMPAC play the Hams this week, so there's no issue there. This could be like Michael is down at Ralph's down in North Carolina getting ready for Thanksgiving on Wednesday, and this deal comes about, Wednesday over a beer or two or Tuesday night.
I can't imagine the AMPAC paying a first-round pick for the quarterback they thought was inferior to Matt Ryan. They put him back in the draft pool 2 months ago.
They were wrong.
So that would be, like you said, that reversal of the admission of a mistake.
Right.
But I guess if you really want a Pac Bowl, and Ralph said he was in the market for a backup quarterback. That's not a backup quarterback.
But he's playing at an MVP caliber level, and he's only 30.
Sure.
So,
you know how much better I would feel about my chances if I had Andrew Luck quarterback in this goddamn team. That's my quick 3-second rant.
Nice.
So
I thought you've been remarkably calm all year. That's been coming.
I mean, the argument is Russell Wilson isn't even yet in his prime, and he's having an MVP season. So,
hey, you know what, Chief? Fuck Andrew Luck. You didn't need him.
No.
He can go.
You're doing great right now.
He doesn't
luck himself, huh?
He doesn't get a ring. It's a sponge.
No, absolutely not.
And Marvin Jones back to the wheels, Phil. Yeah,
I like that.
That would make total sense if the Fats are willing to trade him his way.
Stick knows as well as anyone that I love Marvin Jones. He's one of my soft spot players. So yes,
we put that factored into the equation here.
Exactly.
And to answer Chief's question earlier in the webcast, I think Matt Stafford is actually like the third-ranked quarterback in weekly scoring, in part because Kenny Golladay is a true number one receiver, and Marvin Jones has had a very good year, punctuated by a 4-touchdown game against the K-Wheels.
Yep, I know.
Yeah.
All right, so the Sponge, the 7-2-1. Earlier in the season, we talked on the webcast about whether they were worthy of being in that top tier with the Beavers and the AMPAC. They're certainly.
Just hold on 1 second. I realized Matt Stafford didn't play last game. He's the 23rd highest scorer in the league right now. He is behind Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen. He's behind Nick Foles. I don't know what this must be a forecast. Never mind. I apologize. I hate the default. I hate the default view is the projection.
Is the projections. Yep.
Until I got to Nick Foles, I didn't realize it.
Let me just confirm. Actually, Stafford has fallen after last week. He is now tied for 5th at 20.1 points per game. So there you have it. But yeah, he's actually got 2 great receivers and a receiving threat at tight end now, and no running game to speak of in Detroit. Okay, so I was teeing this up with a reminder. The Sponge have they're 7-2-1. They are, I think, solidly at the top of the second tier of teams in this league right now. We talked about them a couple weeks ago, evaluating whether they belong in that top tier. I don't love to talk about the aliens on the webcast, but I think we're in a position now where we have to ask the same question. We're 6-4. We're first in our division, third in scoring across the league. We've won 3 straight games now. Are we a threat at all to the league's top 2 teams, and how much of a threat to the rest of the league if we can go on and make the playoffs? Talk about the aliens.
Depends how much you're going to tinker with that lineup, Stick. I mean, you have a lineup that I'm not sure any of us could tell you who the studs are. We could look at it and say, this is who you're going to start week to week. That can be wonderful. And I think the Fats actually had a roadmap for that several years back with their team before they became the Frams. With just pieces that, are really good right now, and you can plug them in. And there's a lot to that in this league. That has not been my approach. Obviously, that's been eminently successful for me. But, you got a bunch of pieces now. And, with your quarterback and with all your various running backs, throw Duke Johnson into the puzzle now. I think you could be competitive if you don't outsmart yourself.
Here's what I like. I actually think the quarterback situation is fine. And I think it's actually going to turn into a strength because, like I said before, you're going to have options. Like playing Tampa Bay this week with Drew Brees. That's fantastic. Devontae Freeman has not been good. He's not getting into the end zone for you. That's an issue, but he's out a couple weeks anyway. But still, you would think, keep playing him and he's going to score and he's going to, regress, positively here. But and Samuels. Connor's coming back. That could be an issue. Melvin Gordon's playing great.
Yep.
So, and Amari Cooper's playing well.
Carlos Hyde's been much better this year.
Fine. So the studs don't jump out, but the weakness I think is going to be running back, which frankly, to make a deep run in the playoffs. Considering you're almost definitely gonna have to play 3 games in the playoffs. It's tough to do that without like a really superior frontline running back core. So, and you don't have that right now outside of Melvin Gordon.
Well, I think short answer is, we'll find pretty quickly. Is the aliens do have a matchup this week with the Beavers. So we'll see it now. The Beavers the Packers are on a bye. They'll be playing without Rodgers. But I mean, if you're looking for a litmus test and how do you stack up, we're gonna find out this weekend. And I agree with everything Berto said. And I think that's just seems like the aliens do have this every year where it comes down to, I have 3 to 4 options at every position. They're all relatively equal. Do I pick the guy who's going to hit this week? And that's, you can get on a hot streak and win that way, but it can also be very, very frustrating as a game day manager to pick that right lineup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the game of the week, the Aliens Beavers is a big game. The Beavers are reeling, right? They just lost their undefeated run, or they're undefeated, so their full victory run, whatever you want to call it.
Perfect season. Yeah.
Season. We were talking on this, I think, before we went live and before Stick came here, but I don't know. It made me chuckle a little bit. Bill, don't take offense to this, but he had just made the the Debo Samuel Emmanuel Sanders trade, and if he had just kept Samuel and put him in his lineup, he would be 10-0 right now, which I found slightly humorous. But for the long run, it was a good I think a good trade. But
Trading Kirk Cousins cost me 2 wins so far. I mean,
But
overreaction sometimes.
I want to back up to the Sanders Debo trade. What was that all about? That is a disaster of a trade. Berto's getting the better end of the pick and a draft pick. He's getting.
No, I'm not, Phil. Come on. Sanders, it was a totally fair trade. I didn't even propose it. He sent it to me, and I'm like, this maybe we went back and forth a little bit, but it was very
gave up the draft pick, right?
What's that?
You gave up the draft pick.
Yeah.
It's a terrible trade. It's a terrible trade.
Sanders was playing fantastic. He just happened to get hurt, and Debo happened to go over 100 yards.
Right.
Emmanuel Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders was playing well. And if I had won the week before, there's no chance in hell I would have traded him.
I'm not even going to go there because it makes me. I can go down a very dark place with this because Berto. Of course, Debo Samuel is now going to be the best receiver the second half of the season. Of course he is. This is not expected. Terry, don't trade with Berto.
Make me an offer, Phil. Debo could be yours. You could add him to the wheels. Let's get a deal done right now.
If Nick Foles comes back and something happens and Gardner Minshew comes back in and then turns into Joe Namath on steroids, then I'll believe Berto has miraculous powers.
Crying out loud. I'm the least of your worries. You got to be focused on the impact this week, Phil. Get your head straight. Come on.
Hey.
Don't worry about the killers. We're done. You focus on the impact.
So let's talk about how much winning one crucial game is worth to you. The K-Wheels have to win a game here. They don't. You can lose one game. You could lose this week, and then you really have to win your next two. But these are all must-win games.
Yep.
Even when I was going up against I don't mean to insult the Devils at all here, but I was playing the Devils in a game that I was favored to win. I still felt like, God, I've got to go get a quarterback and make sure I win this game. We all face this from time to time. You have to win this week. Mm-hmm. It's the difference between being in the playoffs or not. Buys or injuries have your lineup lacking. How much are you willing to trade away in terms of draft capital to plug a single hole in your lineup, knowing that you might lose that week anyway, and then you've given up a draft pick and you're out of the playoff hunt? And we all face these decisions.
Breaking news that's definitely not breaking. I got an email from Kramer saying that everyone outside of Kamara and Hopkins is available. The answer, at least for me,
do you feel special?
Say what?
Does that make you feel special?
It does. It makes me feel really deep. I as I know, the entire league got the same. Right. The reality is I'm probably going to lose this week, as I said before, to Ralph, which means I got to win the next 2 weeks. No question. I have to beat the Hams and I have to beat the Killers. Follow that in order to get in the playoffs. The guys I have that are going to start for me the next 2 weeks are going to be better than whoever I'm going to be able to pick up. Because this week I'm decimated by buys. Last week I was hurt by buys. Then I'm done being hurt by buys. Then I got all my players are back. And, Kramer's saying, trade me for Wayne Gallman so you can back up Saquon. Guess what? If Saquon goes down and not going to play, I'm not going to win with Gallman. So there's no point in trading a third-round pick for Gallman. So I'm holding my cards. And I've already made that decision because if I'm going to win, it's going to be because the guys I've got on my team go off the last part of the season with Watson and Barkley and Henry and Metcalf. If those guys get it together, K-Wills could be a scary out, but if they don't, well, I'm not mortgaging the future.
I think a lot of it depends on, obviously, where's your team? Are you fighting for a playoff spot? And listen, right now, this week I'm getting hammered between bye and injury. Okay, I've got Peyton Barber and Jeff Wilson and Jack Doyle in my starting lineup.
Mm.
And that's it. I don't have any options there, unless I want to plug in Ty Montgomery or my other tight end.
Let's go Killers.
So again, I've inquired around, and I might make a trade to get a little better. Although when Tevin Coleman was out earlier this year, I think Jeff Wilson had 5 touchdowns in those 4 games or something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. If I was, If I was a game worse in the standings, if I was neck and neck with the Hams, I would probably be more aggressive in filling that spot. I kind of made my deadline transactions early this year, picking up Winston, picking up Edelman. I think somebody else. I've had to burn every FA pick trying to cover holes. But yeah, I think it depends on where you are. Right now, I'm not too concerned about it. I still might beat the Giant Killers, frankly. But if I was a little bit worse, I think then if one game's going to keep you out of the playoffs, or one game's the difference between a first round bye and not, I really think you have to.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is so much more fun when you're fighting to get in the playoffs. And, if you can do something to improve your team, granted, 4-6, okay, I can't really make a move unless it's something for the future as well.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if you got a chance to improve your team or to do something, yeah, go for it. Not at the risk of, and Chief said this on a couple webcasts ago that I was not on. You get addicted to winning and you want to win, right? You always want to be in it. But you can't do anything that's really going to set your franchise back for a long period of time either. But man, yes, I mean, if you got a chance to lock something up or to get that one game, you do whatever you need to do to get that one game, not at the expense of doing any long-term damage to your franchise, for sure. But yes, it's so much fun to be at this point of the season to have a seat at the table, right? And once you eliminate half the field and you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. And we've seen that time and time again. So do whatever you can to get that win.
To get in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, Terry, welcome back with our schedule, our week 11 schedule, and a game of the week for us to talk about.
Yep. Well, we're going to start the week off with the Mongols Devils. Loser will likely have the number 2 pick in the draft. Then we have the 5-5 Hams versus the Senators, 0-10. The Killers play the Sponge. Chief talked about his bye week issues. I believe com.com has the Killers a 6-point favorite right now. You have the Lizards and the Fats in a very big game for the Fats. Win or go home. The Beavers versus the Aliens. And then the game of the week, the Smack Talk Bowl, the K-Wheels versus the Ampac.
Hey, my guys got to come to play. Watson is back. I got, 2 guys that I kept, Ronald Jones and Kalen Ballage, neither one of which should have been kept because neither one of them is that good. They got a chance to make that all worthwhile this week. They can make this glorious.
Ronald Jones is starting to be a real running back.
How about it? Let's see it. And Ballage is going to get the carries, if nothing else. I mean,
least elusive back in the NFL.
That is a great title. But hey, I would like to, for so many reasons, beat Ralph this week. That would make me so happy. I hope I can do it. I would be more. The other game is the Aliens Beavers game. I think is going to be good. I mean, the Aliens need that game to stay with them, and the Beavers. Hey, Beavers might be shaky now. Never know. Chink in the army.
Well,
Sam Darnold starting at quarterback for the Beavers.
Yeah. And after that 45 and I think it was 30 point, that 2 weeks in a row explosion for Rogers, he's been in, I believe, single digits the last 2 weeks. So again, Bill gets a lot of points from other places, but that's a potential weak spot possibly.
Maybe he needs to get in the Russell Wilson sweepstakes.
Maybe.
I appreciate the fact that Phil has now dubbed the AMP pack the ass pack.
Yes.
That's a new addition. A new addition this year. I appreciate that. Let's work on that.
Yeah, thank you. Good.
But I am rooting for the AMP pack this week. But I think I don't know. I think the AMP pack are rolling. So they are a man, I can't even do this high math. They are a 23-point favorite right now. So,
it's easy to look at this game and Saquon Barkley's on a bye, Derrick Henry's on a bye, DK Metcalf is on a bye. But and this is a credit to Hank. This is still a strong lineup. Singletary's a factor in Buffalo. Ballage they've got nobody else to hand the ball off to. Mm-hmm. Ronald Jones is playing very well. Is going to get more and more touches there. Those are 3 good running backs.
And that's a testament to Phil. Had a good draft this year, real good draft, and he's got good depth. But with Derrick Henry out and Barkley out, it's very.
You'd rather have him in there, but
yes.
But no, this is a capable lineup that is not necessarily going to get blown out by the AMP pack. Interesting, he's got Matt Ryan in his lineup right now. That may change, but good. Yeah, don't give up on this week, Hank.
I'm not. I'm playing the AMP pack. I'm never giving up against the AMP pack, but I'm also, as we talked about all the way season long, I'm realistic as well in that I got 3 games to play. I got to win 2 of them.
We've known all along week 12 with the Ham. We've been talking about that for 6 weeks. You win that one, and eventually you lose this week, and you're in the playoffs starting in week 12. Every week is an elimination game for you. Yeah.
So there we go.
All right. You guys ready for a trivia answer?
Ready.
Kind of a dumb question, but how long has it been since the Aliens, K-Wheels, and Sponge all made the playoffs in the same year?
I'm not good at math. I found 2014. Is that within 5 years?
Do you know that? Do you know that for a fact, Chief?
No.
Okay. I think I kind of gave away the answer pre-webcast as I was begging for more time, scrolling back through the archive, try to find the year. And frankly, I never got to it, and I was keeping you guys waiting. So it was like at least 12 years. I'll have to ever happen.
Did I get the point?
Hank gets the points, I guess. Yes.
I went through every answer, and I'm like,
for 25 points, right?
You get 2 points.
How much? 50?
2.
2?
My initial thought was Stick wouldn't have asked this if it wasn't more than 10 years. That was what I initially thought.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking, well, last year nobody made it. The year before, I know the couple teams didn't. So, and I'm like, but more than 10 years is too obvious. It has to be 6 to 10.
I remember Hank and I both made it 2014. I guess Stick let us down on that one.
But that's cheap. I mean, and the way you set it up with the Myrtle Beach question is what got me thinking it was been a long time. Is that, dude, we would have celebrated a lot harder if all 3 of us had made. We haven't done that ever in our road trips. So
no, not yet. It's pre-Myrtle Beach whenever it last happened.
That's going back a ways.
Yeah, I went 5 and 8 in 2014, Chief.
So the first Myrtle Beach house was 2010, I think.
And it was every year
before that.
We did Deep Creek. We did Deep Creek in the middle of the Myrtle run, right, and then went back, and then last year.
Yeah. I'll get you guys the exact answer if indeed it has ever happened, but I know it's more than 12 years back.
All right, the 2 points to Hank.
See if we can do it this year.
All right, so then the updated standings then are Chief is 30, Hank is now 25, closing in. Berto at 13, and TR at 8. Guest is 2. Now, I got to say, Berto, man, you might have to wear the mantle of the trivia loser going forward.
I've missed a couple webcasts though with the new job. So
This is true. All right.
All right. So our next webcast will be next Wednesday, November 20th. We'll have to talk about when and whether we can do one during the week of Thanksgiving the following week. I'm sure people will ask 20 more times when the trade deadline is. It's Thanksgiving week. We'll be talking more about that. All right. Again, big weeks every week. They get bigger and bigger. Week 11 coming up. Good luck to everybody here. Hank, you really do have a chance. Go beat the AMPAC.
Go, Hank.
I'm in.
Sponge,
the league.
Keep it up. You've been doing great all season long. Berto, I know you got hope. I'm rooting for you to keep that hope alive.
give it a chair.
As long as it doesn't come at the expense of Hank missing the playoffs, because he'll not do well in that scenario.
That's right. I win. Gotta win games.
Win.
And Terry, I don't know what to say about the Mongols winning when they didn't want to.
Stop winning.
Gary, keep sending those commission reports.
38 points.
Yep. All right. Well, good luck to everybody in week 11. We'll see you back here in a week. Take care.
All right.
Cheers.
Good night.
See you, everyone.
All right.
All right.